The new Disney Plus movie Clouds dropped today on Disney Plus. Um, I will say this: if you like movies like The Fault in Our Stars and stuff like that, 5 Feet Apart, you'll like this movie. If you don't and think they're bland, poor, unspecial, predictable movies, you won't like this movie. Here's the thing. The Fault in Our Stars, I love the book. It's a fantastic book. I'm not comparing the movie to the book, but I'm just saying, like, I love the book. It's not that the story itself was bad. A lot of people hate that I don't like the movie because it's like, it's so sad, it's about cancer. It's like, okay, well, who cares? I I don't care what the story's about. It's about how you show me this story. And it's bland, it's predictable. They didn't they weren't clearly the director didn't have fun with the story. They were just adapting it because some studio had said, "Hey, this is a popular book. Make this a film now." He said, "Okay." And that's what he did. The performances were not very good. They weren't terrible, but they also were just kind of eh. And it just was, you know, this it was just a very blandly directed, predictable movie. And if you liked the movie and it made you feel something, cool, I guess. But like, if a movie makes you feel something, I can't take that away from you. But I'm just saying, I'll tell you this though. I cried at I cry at Star Wars. Okay, sometimes Star Wars doesn't have a sad moment, but sometimes just because I'm a fan, I'll start crying. And so like, but I also in my brain acknowledge this is not actually sad, so sometimes we have to be able to do that. Just to be acknowledged, I'm feeling this because I either relate to it or something like that. But I'm not trying to change anyone's opinion on this movie. If you like the movie, whatever. I have better things to worry about than whether you like a, what is objectively speaking a meh movie. This one I think is worse. Not just because it's a Disney Plus movie. This was actually a film Warner Brothers made. Disney bought the rights to it to put it on Disney Plus, which. So this is why the production value is kind of on the same level as Fault in Our Stars. But this movie is very, very bland to a really hardcore degree. The performances are about the same as Fault in Our Stars. The directing is about the same as Fault in Our Stars. But just what makes this movie is it's a movie I've seen 1,000 times. You have a musician who creates music, and he's creating music, and he has cancer, and he becomes a viral star, and every character moment was predictable. I saw the trailer and I predicted everything that was going to happen in this movie. It is very, very, very predictable. It is not surprising in the least. I also just hate movies where there's like a whole plot of the movie where they're creating pop music because they don't even. It's like the whole time you're watching the movie, they're always bragging. This is such good pop music. It's such good, and you listen to it, and it's like the most generic, bland garbage. And it's like, when in the context of the film, it's supposed to be like a big hit, but like you're watching it and like this is bad. Like, okay, not bad, but just bland. It's like who no one would actually listen to this on the degree that they do in the movie. I mean, obviously, there's people have different music choices and they be into it, but like, it's not gonna be as big as they're portraying it in the movie, and that's really an issue with these types of movies. And it's just it's not very interesting. It's a very unspecial movie. I know some people will be affected and start crying, but that's why I hate these movies about people who have like cancer and stuff because you could make it effectively sad and try to tell a story that's interesting and get people to care about it and make them actually feel sad. But instead, people just go in automatically wanting to cry because it's about cancer. And that's my issue with these films. It's just, they're unspecial, they're bland, they're made by people who don't really care about what they're doing. They're just kind of just making them because they're an easy film to make. They'll easily make money because people will watch it wanting to cry. And if it sounds like a film you will like, go watch it. I'm not here to tell you no, don't watch this film. It's terrible, because it's not. It's just meh. And like, I don't care what people say about this movie and what arguments people make about it. I'm not gonna praise a film just because it portrays cancer in a good way. And yes, this film portrays it accurately and effectively, and I think that's great. But besides that, there's really not much to this movie. I think, I didn't like the movie Wonder. I think it was a fine movie. It's actually pretty good. The performances, all that, were pretty good. But what makes that film an elevation from something like this is that was a real directed movie. He found entertaining ways to move the sequences along in that film. He didn't just keep it going. He didn't just choose the most safe ways to do that. He played around with stuff. And that's what made that a good movie. Is, not just the stuff it was portraying, the subject matter, but also the performances, how well directed the film was. But a film like this, it's just like, you could have done the same thing, but you didn't. And that's my main problem with these types of movies. I get they're dramas, and dramas, you're not really gonna do that, but so was Wonder. So, I don't know. I think this is ridiculous. I think these movies are just a dime a dozen. And if it wasn't like my thing to review Disney Plus movies, I would not have talked about this film. I wouldn't have watched it because I could tell how it was going to be just from the trailer, and I was correct. So,